Hi, Hilda, are you here? Would you like to also introduce yourself so we can get to meet you?
Okay, thank you so much. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. I
Okay,
believe
so
we all can.
good day, everyone. My name is Hilda. I'm the growth marketing lead for Vesti Ghana and also a moderator for today's webinar.
All right. Thank you so much, Hilda. So, yeah, just as Hilda said, she's the moderator and growth marketing lead for Vesti Ghana, while I am the community manager here at Vesti Nigeria, Lagos, to be precise. So, just to for everyone here who may or may not know about Vesti, Vesti is a migration fintech company that's committed to helping immigrants around the world to move successfully from their home country to their destination country. Please, can everyone still hear me? Just want to confirm once again.
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, yeah, so we are on a mission to simplify the movement of human and capital across borders, and we do that very effortlessly through our various range of services, legal and financial, that we have designed to help you achieve your migration goals, starting from the Vesti app, which you can download on your iOS or your Play Store. All you need to do is simply create an account, and automatically you get access to your migration savings account. Okay. Just a moment. My apologies. I want to turn on my video. Okay, yes, thank you. Please, can everyone see me and hear me clearly? Just give me a thumbs up in the chat box.
Yes, we can see you. We can see you.
All right. All right, great, thank you. So yes, yeah, like as I was saying, we do that through I've designed legal and financial services, through our study loans, our
You
proof
can.
of funds. Please, if you're trying to speak, you can just leave a message in the chat box. I had said that earlier so that we don't have like too much distractions when we start the conversation. Okay, so yeah, we do that through our proof of funds, our study loans. We also offer education pathway services to different countries, special talent visas, and more recently, Elements, which is a US business registration. I could go on and on, but the reason why we are here today is to actually talk about US visa interview. So yes, I don't know. I speak for myself when I say we've probably all gotten to a point in our lives where we have gotten, up to the stage of having to go to the embassy for an interview so that they can stamp our passport and say, hey, congratulations. But there are actually certain things that you need to do and certain things that you don't need to do when you're going for an interview. Just like a job interview, you need to stay prepared. You need to read, you need to know the questions that will probably be asked. And just like how you prepare for your job interview, we also need to prepare for a visa interview. And with me today, we have four amazing, knowledgeable lineup of speakers who would be answering all of those questions. So, guys, when the conversation starts, feel free to leave your questions in the chat box. I'm going to be bringing them up shortly. I can see Mr. Martins. I think I can also see Mr. Wale. So I'm just going to be calling their names one after the other. They can introduce themselves and then we can start the conversation right away. So I'm going to confirm from the flyer. The first person on here is Mr. Oyewale Okeyode. Kindly unmute your mics and let us get to meet you. And show us your face, please, so that we
Yeah,
can see a name. Yes, a face and a voice.
yeah, can
How
you
are
hear
you
me?
doing today?
Yeah, good afternoon, Laura. How
Yes,
you
we
doing?
can hear you. Good afternoon. I'm doing very well.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm fine, and also a lovely afternoon to all our audience. Really appreciate your time for, coming on board to actually um attend this webinar. My name is Okeyode Oyewale, and I'm the Deputy Operations Lead here at Vesti. And I hope we are going to have an interesting time together today. Thank you.
Yes, yes, it's nice to meet you, Mr. Wale. All right, so next on the flyer is our superwoman, who is the only woman on this lineup of speakers. Hi, Ms. Olubumi Okwadoing. Kindly unmute and introduce yourself. We can't hear you. I don't think we can hear you because I can't. Okay. Do you want to check what's wrong? Let me move on to the next person. Okay, let's meet Mr. Okay, I can hear you now. I heard you. Now I can't hear you. Okay, I'm just going to let Mr. Wilson introduce himself, then we'll come back. Are you ready now?
Yes, I am. Is it better? Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning from wherever you're tuning in. My name is Opadoye Olubumi, and I'm the Senior Business and Migration Analyst at Vesti. It's nice and an honor to be here and to meet every one of you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Olubumi. Okay, I can see Mr. Nicholas raising up his hand. Do you want to share what you want to say on the chat box so we can we can start the conversation? Do you mind sharing it in the chat box? Thank you. Mr. Chinemere Wilson, kindly introduce yourself, please.
Hi, Laura. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Yes, so I'm Chinemere Wilson. I work as the business development analyst here at Vesti, hoping to answer as many questions as we can today. Thank you.
Awesome, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to our final speaker, Mr. Martin. Can you introduce yourself to us?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Martin Zejeheri. I'm Cards and Wires leads at Vesti, and I believe we're going to have a great time this afternoon. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Laura. Yeah.
Of course. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you, everyone, for the warm introductions. Now that we have finally put that aside, let's go straight into why we're actually here. So, first off, I know I'm of the opinion that this visa interview is probably the part or the phase in the whole migration process that will determine if you are going to go or you're not going to go. So I want to first start, with Mr. Wale. What are those common mistakes that we shouldn't be making when we have gotten to this point of the interview to migrate to the US?
All right. Thank you very much, Laura. Yes, when it comes to this US visa interview, there are a lot of things that go into your mind. In fact, the US visa interview can even, make you much more nervous than even if you are going for a contract or maybe you are going for a job interview, because a lot of us have
Really?
a lot of things in our mind when we go for the US interview. So many of us seen it as that's the passport to my global mobility. That's a passport to my wealth. That's a passport to my future. And a lot of things goes on in our mind. You are so nervous. But I will start from that nervousness. Is one of the things that you should not allow, to overtake you during the US visa interview. And another thing a lot of us do is do not, in whatever capacity or any circumstance, get late to the embassy, because that would actually even make you more nervous. All right. Another thing is inappropriate answers. All right. Inappropriate answers. Try to actually understand and get what the consular is asking. Yes, some consulars can speak very fast. They can actually, speak in an accent that you do not understand. You have the right to call the attention of the consular and tell him or her that, please, can you come again? It's part of the reason why you pay for your visa, and that's the reason why they are there to attend to you. So in as much as within that 2, 3, 5 minutes that you'll be there, you have the right to call the attention of the consular and officer and tell them that, please, can you take that again? Do not assume you understand the question. do not assume, because the consular does not even have the time. They don't have time to waste. The max they're going to spend with you is 2 to 3 minutes. If you see them spending more than that, it means that they're actually, going to somewhere. They want to arrive somewhere with you, like that particular applicant. All right. But if within 2 to 3 minutes, they've actually come to a conclusion whether they are giving you the visa or not. All right. Another thing we should not do is inappropriate dressing or appearance. As simple as this point might look, a lot of us overlook it, because you are going for a US interview is like a formal and semi-formal interview together. All right. And I think formal dressing is appropriate for any kind of interview. But when people ask me this question, most time I just tell them, dress in something that you are comfortable with. All right. Because at the end of the day, some people will now say, it's because they said I should dress in this clothing. That is why they didn't give me. But most of the time, it's very good for you to actually dress in something that is comfortable. Do not go there with skimpy dresses. Do not over. In fact, your perfume, the perfume you wear must not even be too strong. Just be moderate. Yes, just be moderate in the things that you put on. Do not put on earrings, eyelashes that look like ant fan. Do not put it on.
Like, I know what kind of earring.
You are going for a serious business, all right?
Yeah.
Do not look for something gorgeous. No. It's just a 2 to 3 minute session and you are done. All right, just be moderate. All right, moderately dressed. Another thing is incomplete supporting documents. As simple as your international passport number is. All right, make sure that you are not omitting a number. Make sure that your DS-160 application number correlates with what is even on your appointment confirmation sheet. All right. If your DS-160 confirmation number is not the same thing with what is on your appointment confirmation, you will encounter some delay, and you can even be sent back and they can tell you to come back another day. That can destabilize you totally. So you have to be very, very, very articulate with all the information that you'll be putting on there, because the interviewing consular does not even know you. They do not have any prior information about you. So those things you filled in that DS-160 is even like 40% of what they are going to use in arriving at their conclusion, whether they are giving you the visa or not. But those things you are saying, even while you are at the embassy, is what they are going to judge you on. The first 1, 2, 3 minutes of your interview mostly determine and goes a long way to determine whether you'll be approved or not. All right. And lastly, no matter what happens in your interview session, please do not argue with the visa official. And even if you're going to argue, just be polite about it and be formal about it. All right. So that's that. I'm seeing all those questions coming up, and we are going to take the questions later. Yes. Thank you, Laura.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. I actually had to take some notes down myself, and I think for me it's the part of the dressing, because even when you were speaking, I was just like, oh, okay, so I should not go there with makeup. I should not go there with my hair done, But I feel like the part of dressing cannot be overemphasized. Like, we really need to hammer on that, because I heard of stories where some people go for the interview and they wear agbada with their feel and everything, and some wear like very serious suits and all. So just even pointing this out, let people know that, hey, it's very important to dress up, and also important to not argue, just to show respect and courtesy is really something that I believe that we would always remember when we're going to the US interview. So this visa interviews now, are there, I mean, is the process the same despite the kind of visa that you get, if it's a student visa or a work visa or like a special talent visa, or they are like different criterias we could encounter during the interview depending on the kind of visa, or it's just a similar kind of question or something?
Yeah, am I being directed?
That
Was
one.
that the question? Okay, all right. So
Yes, yes.
all right, so yes, for so many of us here right now on this call, it might interest us to know that the US have about 18 types of visa. All right. And all those 18 types of visa are in different categories, and they all come with their unique requirements and eligibilities. All right. We have the B visa that we all know, the B1, B2, which is the tourist and the visit visa. We have the C1 visa. That one is called the transit visa. For so many of us in Nigeria, you would note that if you happen to get a Canadian visa, all right, and you want to book your flight, and that flight is going to have a layover in the United States, and you don't have a US visa, you will need to apply for a transit visa. And if you can't get that, that means you can't go on that flight. You have to go and look for another flight that will take another route. So that's what the transit visa is meant for. All right. We have another one called the D visa. That one is for the ship crew, airline crews. They have their own category of visa. And you don't work with an airline. So how will you apply for that kind of visa? We have another one called the F visa. That is where we have our students. That is also another visa that is popular, is following the B1, B2 visa closely behind it. We have another one which is called the I visa. That is for the journalists and media. We have another one for called the J visa. That is for exchange visitors. We have another one called the M visa. This M visa is also a student visa, but it's for students going for vocational course. Do not forget, I mentioned F visa earlier. That one is for student going for academic courses, as long as your course is going to span between 2 years, 4 years. All right. And there's another one called T visa, victim of human trafficking. We have one for NAFTA professionals. We have one called the U visa, victim of criminal activity. All right. Somebody will ask me, how will a person of how will they have a visa for a victim of criminal activity? Yes, it has happened before. Maybe someone was you were kidnapped, maybe in a country, and you can actually give the evidence. No, yes, there's a visa for you. There's a visa for you. So you might wonder, wow, US have visa for every category. We have another one called the H visa. That's the temporary and seasonal workers. For people that are going for, you have a season worker, like most people in agriculture. We have some crops that are seasonal crops. Yes, maybe you have the opportunity of getting an employment in that field. You can apply for that kind of visa. Then we have another one called the L visa. That one is intra-company transfer visa. Maybe your company has another office in the United States, and you want to be transferred into that place from another country. That's the kind of visa you go for. Another one is the O visa. This one, Vesti is known for that. The O visa is called the visa for persons with extraordinary abilities. All right. So Vesti is known for that, taking charge of that field. Another one is the P visa. This one is for athletes and entertainers. Yes, that's the category of visa they go for. And another category of visa is the R visa. This one is for religious workers, for our fathers, our pastors, our nuns. You have a religious engagements in the US. That's the category of visa you are meant to apply for. Don't go and apply for a B1, B2 because that is automatic denial. All right. So we have another one called the E visa, Treaty Trader Investor visa. We have another one called the K visa. This is I think is the third most popular visa, which is for fiancé or spouse of a US citizen. And we have another one called the Q visa. This is for international cultural exchange. So the category of visa in the United States is categorized into two, which is the immigrant and the non-immigrant. All right. So we can actually put all this lineup of visa under those two categories. All right. And all of them have their different requirements and eligibility. You understand? So you cannot go to the US Embassy and apply for a B1, B2 visa, and or let me say you are going for F1 visa, which is a student visa, and you are not with your I-20 form, or you do not come to Vesti to help you process your service fee. So you are not with your service fee receipt. Because those are the first three things the interviewing consular is going to ask you is your passport, international passport, your I-20, your service fee. Then maybe they can ask you for your admission letter and all, or your scholarship. So you have to be ready to go with all the needed requirement documents that goes in line with the category of visa that you are applying for. All right. You do not want to make that kind of mistake. The interviewing consular will not even spend 30 seconds with you. We'll just tell you, sorry, you can try again later. All right. So all the visas comes with different requirements and eligibility.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. White. Thank you for actually taking your time to even list the different types of visas, for people, for some of our guests who might be here that need that clarification.
Yeah.
Just know that
Some people know that. Some people only know B1, B2, and F1.
Yeah, exactly. They only know that one. Some don't even know even what the student visa is called as the F1 or something. They don't even know. Or not even them not even know. They don't even know about the O1 and all that. So thank you so much for that. Because it gives, I feel like it gives a perspective to, okay, what type of visa and what type of document. And that's why I felt to also ask that, because that would also guide the US interview. I think I want to move, I would like to direct this question to Miss Bumi. I know that as our business analyst, your core right here at Vesti is our education pathways, our student visas. So for some of our guests who are here, who are trying to get admission to schools abroad in the US, we're going to focus on just the US. I know Mr. Wale has done justice on touch point of all of these visas, but what would you say are the requirements that some of these applicants need to have for them to get to that stage of the visa interview before they can be eligible?
All right. Please confirm you can hear me this time.
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Okay, so the first thing you want to have, I'll mention two very funny things. The first thing you want to have is an admission letter that you've obtained an admission, and very, very important, a valid international passport that can be stamped. I've seen someone reach out to us before, said, I want to obtain an admission. I'm like, do you have an international passport? He said, no, I'm going to process that when I get the admission. Very, very funny. So very important as a student, if you're trying to pursue the F1 visa, the first thing you want to have is your international passport. Second will be to secure an admission. Then you want to ask, how do I secure an admission? There are a lot of processes to securing an admission. The first thing you want to do is shortlist the schools. You want to know, okay, what schools support the documents that I have, because US has different schools with different requirements. There are schools that are requesting English proficiency, and there are schools that do not request that. There are schools that would request additional documents like the SAT, the TOEFL, IJMBs, and there are schools that do not request that. There are schools that give conditional admission on the fact that you're going to produce some of these documents before you are offered an admission, and there are schools that do not request that. So the first thing by shortlisting the schools will be, I want the schools that can give me what I have at the moment. What are the things that you need to have at least to get a school that does not have a lot of these requirements? The first thing you need to have, I said that before, international passport. Second thing you need to have will be your transcript, either as an undergraduate or as a postgraduate. You need to have a statement of result from your school. Undergraduate to be like, what do you mean statement of result? There are three things as an undergraduate you need to have. You need to have a statement either from WAEC or NECO. That's the one you print from JAMSTIP. You need to have a scratch card to back that up, because there are schools that want to authenticate that this student actually wrote this exam and did not fabricate this. So they will request for a scratch card from you, and you're going to mail that to them. Then the next thing you want to have will be a testimonial from your school stating that you actually graduated from the school. Then the next thing you want to have will be your proficiency letter, either as a postgraduate or an undergraduate. You want to have an English proficiency letter. And I once said this, not everyone has IELTS, Duolingo, or any English test. But if you ever took GNS in your school or you did English language, you are eligible for a proficiency letter from your school. And that is for those that are in English speaking countries. If you have English as your lingua franca, then you are eligible for that. Now, if you don't have that in your country, the one thing you want to do is take an English test. It doesn't take so long. If you check on the Vesti app right now, you will see how to pay for Duolingo or to pay for IELTS. And these tests are actually quite fast. You can easily take that at your own pace and secure this. Very, 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 one of the most important is your statement of purpose. Please, when tailoring your statement of purpose, as much as you want to tailor it to a defined course, you also want to make it as universal as possible. What do I mean by universal? There are a lot of people that are trying for different courses. Under MBA, you can be trying for international business. HRM, you can be trying for business administration. So while you're being very particular HRM, you cannot use that same statement of purpose for international business or business administration in general. So you want to make it as universal as possible. But if you know you want to be very, very precise, then be ready to have a lot of statements of purpose written. And while writing your statement of purpose, please can you name it correctly? Because all of these documents, like Mr. Wally earlier said, is how the admission reviewer meets you. How you put out all of these documents is how the admission reviewer meets you. And take note, even at the point of correspondence, an application can be recalled or nullified. So you want to make sure that all of these documents are well named. The next thing you want to think is, what am I supposed to write in my statement of purpose? I give people a cheat code. It's just three paragraphs, and I can tell you for free that the admission reviewer consider having you as a student. The first thing is, I want to meet you. Me meeting you, state your name, state your course, the country of residence, your course of study, how the course has impacted you. That is the first paragraph. I have met you that way. That way you have listed your hobbies, your passion, what you're very passionate about. The second paragraph is listing your course, the course you are aiming to study in that country. You state, well, all you have achieved in that course. If you've taken a certification for that, just to get that course, just to further your learning. If you have years of experience, you want to state that in the second paragraph. Your third paragraph should be specifically how this course of intent will be of benefit to you and to the country you are intending to migrate to. Why do I say this? The schools that are offering you admission are not offering because they need students, they also need value. So you want to be sure that you're going to be adding value to that community, to that country as well. So these are the three things you need to take note of when writing your statement of purpose. And the last but not the least you need to prepare will be your letters of recommendation, both academic and professional letters of recommendation. You cannot say you have professional and you don't have academic. Of course, you went to school, so there should be somebody willing to attest to your academic prowess, however it may be, and there should be someone willing to attest to your professional prowess and effectiveness in your place of work, attest to all of the experience you've gathered over the years. So these are the things you actually need to provide even before you get to the point of visa. Now, upon getting this admission, what is next for you? Because we're focusing on the US, you also want to start working on your proof of funds, because immediately an offer is given, the next port of call will be your proof of financial affidavit. Either you have a sponsor or you're self-sponsoring. You want to have your proof of funds ready. Now, for undergraduates, do not make the mistake of self-sponsoring as an undergraduate. You need to have a sponsor as an undergraduate. So you want to prepare your proof of financial affidavit. And while you're working on the admission, you can always prepare for that. How do you prepare for that? If you know that the university gives a timeline of 4 weeks response, you know that at least in the second week, you start to work on your proof of funds as soon as possible, knowing that you might be offered this admission. So once you accept, the next document they want to wait for, there are schools that take about 3 weeks to actually review these documents for authenticity. And when working on your proof of funds, please work with great companies like Vesti, because there are a lot of blacklisted companies and you want to be aware of that. You want to be aware of blacklisted companies offering you proof of funds. It can actually get you either they recall or nullify the admission offer, or you even get a ban from that country. So you want to be very, very sure about the company offering you proof of funds. Then the next thing you will need to start preparing will be, okay, I need to make payment for my service fee. It won't be at the point of payment for the service fee, then you know that maybe a dollar card is not working. You don't have a very, very good company. Vesti does all of that, yes, but you want to make sure that you have all of this in hand. Upon getting your service fee, then you get onto the visa stage. It is at that point you want to know, okay, I need to pay for my DS 160 and to start applying for a visa interview. So it is at this point you get to the visa interview stage, and there will be guidance all along the way if you're working with Vesti. So Laura, I'm not sure if that suffices, if you'd like me to go further.
No, of course that suffices for me, and I'm sure for everyone. But if there are any questions, please, guys, feel free to write them in the chat box. Avoid unmuting the mic so that we don't have distractions. Just as it has been rightly posted on the chat box. So thank you so much, Ms. Bumi, for giving us a detailed breakdown. We okay. I think I might want to pause for a moment and let Hilda ask some questions from our own end. Hilda, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much. And thank you, Ms. Bumi, for that information. I would like to ask, what are some of the common mistakes? Sorry, what are some of the common interview questions, and then how do I answer them? How do I go about them? If Mr. Wale can help us with that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hilda. I'll start from this angle, all right? I will start by saying this, that there is no, how will I put it, like a one-way sure or a general question that is applicable to all visa. It's just a continuation of where Bumi stopped, that each visa comes with their own requirement. And the questions that will be asked an applicant applying for a B1, B2 will be different from the question that will be asked an applicant that is applying for an F1, which is a student visa. All right. And the question will also even be different from an applicant that is going for, let's say, O1 visa. Okay. So quickly, we'll just touch it because what we are giving is just like an holistic view of acing your US visa. So maybe subsequently, we'll be having specific ones that would be specific to a category of visa. All right. So because of time, I will just, give an overview of what actually the interviewing consular is looking for. And I will just tell you this. There are 5 things that they check out for, and of which there are questions on them as well. Let me say I will talk on someone applying for a visit visa, which is a tourist visa. And I will also briefly talk about people that are applying for F1 visa, which is a student visa, because those are the 2 common visas that we are known for, majorly in Nigeria and also other African countries as well. And these are the visa category that have a high number of applicants that are applying for them compared to all other category of visa. All right. So while conducting visa interviews, right, consulars officer look at each application holistically and individually, and also consider the applicant's circumstances. That's one. Travel plans, financial resources, and ties outside of the United States that will ensure that the applicants actually return to their home country. And this is very, very peculiar to B1, B2, and also to the student visa. Number one question that anybody, I can assure you, and I can give you this for free, that there's no way you will attend a US visa interview. I'm hearing some noise at the background. If I mute, okay, yeah, I think he has muted. So the number one question you will definitely encounter is, why are you traveling to the US? Why are you going to the US? That's the number one question. And that's what they want to know, because from that and from your answer, that is where they will actually know the next question they will ask you, and they will know the category of visa that you're even applying for, even before checking your DS-160. Because as the consular is, the consular officer is collecting, the first thing he will request for is your international passport. As he or she is collecting your international passport, he's asking you that question immediately. Why are you going to the United States? And your response should be concise and precise. Do not like give too much of answer. Do not talk too much, because from your talking, you are giving them more insight into more questions that they are going to ask you. And please do not forget this. I want to actually sound this note that US immigration laws, all right, have specific standards under which a visa application may be denied. So if the consular officer doesn't have all the information required to determine if the applicant is eligible to receive a visa, their visa may be denied. And I want to say this, everybody coming to the US embassy, you are on the denial list automatically, all right? Until you can prove the interview consular otherwise that you are qualified for that visa. So you want to prepare enough for the kind of questions that you will ask. Number one, why are you traveling to the US? Number two, where are you going in the US? Why and where? They are two different questions. Another thing they will check, that is under purpose of travel. Another question they would ask you is, what do you do? That is under your circumstance. They want to know what you do. That's another category. What do you do? Another question under that category, they will ask you that you should, if you, by the time you answer them, oh, what do you do? Let me say I'm a businesswoman. As simple as that. I'm a businesswoman. And the next question they will ask you under that is, what do you do? Like, what are your job duties? You've been a businesswoman for 10 years. So tell us what you do on a day-to-day basis. And you'll be surprised that some people cannot even give 5 things that they do on that job. A job that you've been doing for over 10 years. You can't tell us 5 things that you do. All right. So you don't expect maybe your neighbor or the person sitting beside you, or maybe your travel consultant to come and tell you how to say what you do by your own self. I need to sound this note of warning as well, that the visa consular or the visa officer does not know you from anywhere before. They don't even have the time. So you will be the one to actually convince them that this is the kind of person I am. So someone that you want to tell us what you do, your job duties, and you're saying, I buy and sell, and you're using all these word fillers. It is not allowed. It is not allowed. You have to be like straight, concise, and precise, straight to the point. There's no there's no you see, as in, all those ones, all those word fillers are not allowed. Go straight to the point. Another thing they also want to check is your financial status. I can see some people already writing some questions on the chat that they've been to the visa interview and the interview consular did not even check their documents. Yes, it might interest you or shock you to know that the US consulars, they are not even interested in looking at your document. Even if you want to bring out your document and show them, they might even tell you, no, you can keep it. The only document they will collect from you is your international passport. So they are not interested in your document. They are interested in you. And that is why the US embassy is one of the few embassies in the world that want to see and have a physical interview with all persons, all applicants that want to come into the United States via their interviewing consulars at all their designated embassies around the globe. You will notice the difference between the US and Canada. Canada does not even need to see you. Just go and drop your documents. And that's all. They don't even interview you for any Canadian visa, be it visit or student or express entry or work visa. Canada does not even want to see you. That's why they don't even have embassy in some countries. But the US, in Nigeria, they have 2 embassies, one in Abuja, one in Lagos, because they know we are much. The population of these countries, and they want to attend to as much as everybody that wants to come and interview. So they are much interested in what you want to say. They want to know how articulate are you. They want to know if you get into the US, you can actually read simple signs written in English. You can actually obey simple traffic lights. All right. And it's very good for you to be able to converse in English. So then after asking for your financial level, they might ask you, how much do you earn? How much is your salary before tax and after tax? You should be able to say how much you earn. Another thing they will now ask you, that question is targeted at your home ties. There's something we call home ties. All right. There's something we call home ties is what you have that is actually going to bring you back home when we give you this visa, because we don't want you to go there and be a nuisance. We don't want you to go there. And a lot of people go to the United States and they don't come back. So what are those things that will bring you back? That is when they will now ask you, are you married? You don't expect me to tell you how to answer that question, right? Are you married? Yes, I'm married. With how many kids? 1 or 2. You will notice a lot of our students. Now, let me move to F1. A lot of our students get denied on this stance because they don't have enough home ties to bring them back. A student that is married and have a kid have higher chances of approval than a student that is not married, that is single. That's just the truth. So for F1 students, try to relate that question and get around your professional career on how what you are going to study is going to bring you back home and how it's going to be useful for you when you get back to your country. That is how you can actually answer that question. You tie it around the future use case for that course that you are going for. Because I know someone will ask me, as a student, I'm not married, so how will I prove my home ties? All right. Or maybe you can also show them a promise of assurance that by the time you come back from your studies, you'll be employed. All right. So for students as well, you have to show your proof of funds. And for students, please note this. If they don't check any document that you are going with, like I said earlier, for people applying for B1, B2, they might not even check any of your document because they don't even have the time. The max you will spend with any interview consular is 2 to 3 minutes. Under 3 minutes, the interview is over. But for students, if they don't check any document, they will definitely check your statement of account, your proof of funds. How are you going to fund yourself? How are you going to pull through your 4-year course as an undergraduate and your 2-year course as master's student? So they will definitely check that. And make sure that you have your service fee paid. Even if you check all the boxes and you do not pay the service fee, I'm sorry, you won't be granted the visa. All right. So in summary, all visa categories are tied around about 4 to 5 things, which is the purpose of why you're traveling, your financial status, what you do for a living, and also home ties, which is very, very important. All right. So a lot of questions can crop up under all those categories. So it's not left for you to be able to actually know how to defend yourself and how to tell your story, because nobody can tell your story the way you are going to say the story. And even if they interview 100 people, everybody is treated individually and they are treated separately. All right, so that's that. So for this, someone just asked about what do you mean by service fees? Not service charge, service fee, service, SEVIS. SEVIS is an abbreviation. Student exchange visitors fee. It goes directly, yes, thank you for putting that in, Francis Badamosi. It goes directly to the federal government of the United States. So you have to pay it before you go for your interview. So every student, F1 applicant, you have to pay that. And if you have challenges paying it, Vesti can assist you with that. Thank you very much, Hilda.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wale, for that very detailed questions that we can look out for, during the interview. So just before we continue, I'm missing a lot of questions here. So I want to just take about one or two. I know that you've also touched based on some of them while you were having the discussion. So I'm just going through the chat box right here and I'm ticking off. Okay, so the first question we have is, if my kids are 14 and 12 years old dress formally for the visa interview. Okay, the person is asking about her kids. So you mentioned that, as adults, you should dress well, dress simple, dress formal. So does that also
Moderate.
apply to kids? Or exactly, moderate. Does that also apply to the kids?
Well, there's a lot of attention on the main applicants, which most times are the parents. All right.
Okay.
So the kids, you would not even want to dress anyhow to them as well. You don't want to dress shabbily for your kids. Make sure that they are putting on something. If it's during the week, I've been to the US Embassy a lot of times and I see a lot of kids coming to the US Embassy with their parents in their school uniform. It's allowed. You can put on their school uniform for them, because at the end of the interview, which is not even going to take up to 30 minutes or 1 hour, they can go back to their school and you can also go back to your work. Another thing I used to tell people is this: anytime you are going for a visa interview, dress as if you are going to your work, like you are going to your office. Because I would even give them the impression that, oh, immediately after this interview, I'm even going back to my office. That's even to show them that you have what you are doing. You are not idle. All right. So dress as if you are going back to work after the visa interview, because the visa interview will not even take the whole day. So dress as if you are going to your place of work immediately after the interview. Then dress as if your children is going back to school immediately after the visa interview. So they don't really pay much attention on the kids. They even leave the kids. In fact, there are some kids that you see inside the embassy that they will be running everywhere. They'll just be running up and down. And they will be frustrating you, the parents, and you will not be able to beat them because they are inside the US Embassy, and that means they are in United States, because that ground you are standing is United States of America. So you cannot beat them. So you can't beat them. So you just leave them to run up and down. And at times, let me tell you this: even while they are running up and down, they can even be the reason why the visa consular will just say, "Let me give you the visa and just approve it." You never can tell.
Wow. Wow.
Because the sole discretion of whether you will get the visa or not solely lies with the visa consular. So that's that's what you have in your mind. So that's just it. So let us go to another question.
Okay, yes, fantastic. Thank you so much. So I hope that response helped. Jessica, I said, okay, yes, she responded. Okay, was it Jessica? Okay, Uzochi. I hope I pronounced your name right.
Yeah, that's Uzochi.
Yeah, Uzochi. So, Jessica, your question has also been responded to. We're going to go to the next one. Adeni, it says, what will you say that US Embassy do check for their verification of applicants for visit? Because in most cases, they don't even check the document you hold in application. You rarely see them asking you to upload supporting documents. Is there a high chance of having a USA visa if you have a Canadian visa? Okay. Do you want to take that, Mr. Wale, or just?
Yes. Let me quickly answer that. I think she's trying to ask that US Embassy do check for their verification of applicants for visit visa. Of course, in most cases, they don't even check the document. You see, these are one of the misconceptions, all right, that people have when it comes to US visa. There are a lot of misconceptions. Let me just tell you some of them. Some people say, if you're going for US visa, you have to have millions of accounts. You have to have billions of accounts, billions of money in your account. That's misconception. The US Embassy does not even send what is in your account. You'll be at the US Embassy and you see people that are overqualified and they will still be denied. Yes, it happens. And in some cases, they will say, the consular officer denied me because they didn't carefully go through my documents. No, I've said it before. They are not interested in your document most times, especially people going for B1, B2. They are interested in what you want to say. If you sound convincing. I said it the other time. Before you arrive, you and your document, you're already on the disapproved list until you can prove the consular otherwise that you are qualified. Another thing is our country. Countries are different. Countries are different. A country that has a high number of citizens than in the US and they refuse to come back to their own country. What they are doing is that they are making the visa process or the visa approval to be much more difficult for those people that are still in their country to come over. So that's just it. And it's a pity that so many African countries we find ourselves in that shoe. All right. But the only thing about it is just that your document is like 40%. The remaining 60% is you as a person. All right. So that's just it. And to answer the other question is if you have Canada visa, does it give you a high chance of getting a US visa? Yes, it does. It does. So that one answers your question because it's very easy for the US immigration office to actually get any data they want to get from the from the Canadian immigration office as well. So they exchange information and it's always very easy. But it's a pity here in Africa or in Nigeria in particular, most of our countries, we don't have database where these people can check. So that's why they use their discretion. Most times they use their discretion in deciding whether they should give you the visa or not. So most times they won't even tell you the particular reason why you are being denied the visa. They will just give you a generic paper. Is blue color or green or yellow or pink on that section 214B. That's all. That's what they will give you. And you will now be wondering, where did I go wrong here? You understand? So that's their own way of doing their own thing. Like I said, it's solely at their discretion.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. There's just a lot of questions right here. Wow. I hope that we can take them all. Guys, I see the questions. I really appreciate. We'll take as much as we can. And if your question wasn't answered or you feel dissatisfied, we have links to clarity calls where we encourage people to actually book them. So my colleague will be posting those clarity call links in the chat box. I can see one of them. The education insights link. It's the clarity call that is paid. It is a paid clarity call worth 46,500. That is for everyone who is interested in studying abroad. We encourage everyone to come on the clarity call to discuss your options. And just like everything that Ms. Bumi also shared earlier from the document to the process, we will give you all of those personalized, tailored support when you come on that clarity call. There are other clarity call links that will be shared, or that clarity call link would also be shared again. So yeah, just keep listening. We have more questions to take, and we want to hear more from Mr. Wale. Also, shout out to everyone who is streaming this live on our YouTube platform. We are seeing you guys. Thank you so much for viewing, and also you're welcome if you're just joining us. Just as you can see from the screen here, we're talking about how to ace your US visa interview, and so far Mr. Wale and Ms. Bumi have given us very practical steps in it. If you know your visa interview is around the corner today, tomorrow, next month, early next year, feel free to just say hi. Aside this webinar, we also have a community, growth communities on our app where you can be a part of and interact with like-minded people. So we look forward to communicating all of you. I'm going to be answering as much questions I can in the chat box. My colleague is going to be posting the clarity links. And if you have any questions at all, also you can send an email to our support line, which will also be posted in the chat box. So with that, Hilda, I would like to pass on the microphone to you at this point to ask your question. Hi, Hilda, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank
All
you.
right, no problem.
Okay, so this question will be to Mr. Martins. Please, can you tell us what we need to know before meeting the consular at the embassy? The things that we need to know.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Hilda. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Mr. Wale and Bumi. Even I am a part of the team, and so far I've actually gotten so much insight from you guys, and you guys are doing amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hilda, for that question. So, what I'm going to be saying is going to be like a follow-up to what Mr. Wale has said earlier. So, before you meet the counselor, I'm going to be talking about three things that you need to be sure of. I'm going to name them ACE, ACE, accuracy, confidence, and expression, right? So accuracy, I'm going to take accuracy first. Accuracy is you have to know exactly what is on your DS-160 before you go for that interview. If your DS-160 is filled for you or you filled it yourself, sometimes you might book for an interview. You might be up for an interview and might be like maybe a few months down the line or a year or some weeks down the line, and you might have forgotten what's on your DS-160 before that day. It is very, very important that you know what's in your DS-160, because the truth is that the counselor does not know you before. The only information they have to go with is what is on your DS-160 and the answers you're going to give to them. So he's looking at your DS-160 and looking at what you are applying for. And that will tailor what is going to be asking you, right? It's going to be asking you questions around what you filled in. Let's say, for instance, you're going for a B1, B2, which is a visit or tourist visa. And you have entered that you will be sponsoring yourself. And you're going for a week. And you'll be sponsoring yourself throughout that 1 week. Be rest assured that there's a high chance that you'll be asked for your bank statement or your proof of payment that to show that you can actually sponsor yourself. Let's say, for instance, you've entered there that you have travel plans already, right? They might ask you for those travel plans. Like, have you booked an hotel? Have you booked your flight? Stuff like that. Let's say, for instance, you say you don't have any travel plans. They might ask you, like, why don't you have a travel plan? You might need to answer them and tell them you want to get the visa first before you go book your ticket. So you need to be sure of what is on your DS-160. You must be able to defend it accurately, because you are on the negative part of the pile before the interview, and the counselor is just looking for a reason to keep you on that path, right? And you need to convince him enough to move you from that negative part to the positive part of the list of what is in front of him, right? So he's going to be asking you questions around what is in your DS-160, and you must be able to answer them accurately, because any atom of lie or any atom of deceit or any atom of wearing away from what is in your DS-160 shows that you are not actually going to be moved to that positive path. Like, for instance, they're asking you where you're going to be staying, and you say you already booked an hotel, and they're asking you for the zip code of the hotel, and you don't know the zip code of that hotel, right? That is a negative already. That's a red flag. You need to know accurately what is your DS-160. You need to be accurate about that. Then the second one is confidence. That's C. You need to be confident. Like, you need to be able to look straight in the counselor's eyes and answer your questions. You need to be confident in answering your questions. Like, for instance, when you get there, the first thing is asking you, good afternoon. You must be able to reply and be like, good afternoon to you, to hope you're having a great day. Don't just say, good afternoon, or good afternoon, sir. You're just shaking and fidgeting in front of the counselor. You need to be confident. You need to be confident in answering your questions. You need to be confident in how you carry yourself. You need to show that you are not just anybody. You know what you're doing. You are important. you are confident of what you are here to do, of your visa. For instance, you're going for an O1 visa, for instance, and they're asking you questions around your business. You must be confident enough to express yourself, to talk about your business confidently, to talk about like revenue, talk about like tax you pay and stuff like that. Like for instance, there are some people that go for one B1 visa that are actually going for maybe a conference or like a tourist invitation in the US, and they're asking them questions about how they qualified for that conference, and they don't have the confidence to actually give express themselves in how they actually qualify. Some of them might be going about like it's just based on my relationship with somebody. That's wrong. You need to be confident to let them know that it's based on merits, that you worked you actually did something for you to be confident, for you to be nominated for that conference, right? You need to be confident. Now I'll go to expression, which is one of the most important part of this question, right? Expression, you need to be able to express yourself. One thing is, I used to tell people, don't stop talking. Don't stop talking. You're going for a friend's birthday visit, for instance, and they're asking you like, what's your relationship with your friend? And probably you guys went to the same secondary school or high school, right? Or college. You should be able to tell them, oh, we've been friends for XYZ number of years. We've always kept in touch, and I've missed his birthday for the past 5 years. Even in the last year, I was unable to attend his birthday online. We normally stream his birthday online. I was unable to attend, probably because of work engagement and all that. So we decided that we're going to meet this year. Even his first son and my first son are the same grade. You need to be able to express yourself. Just keep talking, keep explaining until the counselor is able to tell you that, okay, the next question, right? You keep talking. You're going for a business O1 visa, for instance, they're asking you questions around your business. You keep talking. I've been doing my business for the past, let's say, for instance, I'm a business consultant. I consult fintechs. And they're asking me like, oh, how many clients have you consulted in the last 1 year? Oh, just keep talking. I've consulted over 8 clients. And because of my consultancy and the knowledge I shared with them, they have been able to scale from 50,000 users to over 200,000 users. They've been able to scale up their finances from over 100% in the last 6 months because of what I've told them. And so far, I've been able to, I have over 12 clients in the pipeline. Just keep expressing yourself, keep talking. Don't stop talking until you're tired of it. Another thing is, if they don't ask for a document from you, don't try to bring it out of the bag. If they don't ask you to bring any proof, don't try to dip your hand in your bag and try to bring it out until they ask for it, right? That goes with expression and confidence as well. Don't be too forward. Don't be too forward. But keep talking, keep expressing yourself, keep letting them understand that you know your craft, you know what you're doing. And like what Mr. Wale talked about like they will ask you reasons or ask you questions or hints around if you're going to be coming back to your country. Let them know you're going to be coming back. Let them know. Don't let it look as if the United States is your ticket to a good life, or the United States is your ticket to without going to the United States, you're done. You're finished. Don't let it look that way, right? You have to be confident enough to let them know that you're coming back to your country. Let's say, for instance, you're going for education and you are going for a course. Let them know that you're just going there because the United States gives you the opportunity to have a global, to learn this on a global scale, to have a global network, and you intend to come back to your country to use that knowledge to build capacity in that space in that space where you're studying, to actually build a network, to build a business. Or you can even say you have like an employment in the pipeline that after this course, you're definitely going to be employed. Or you can say you're already employed before, something like that. You're employed before, you want to go for this course, and it increases your chances of getting a better pay, of getting a higher employment, because you intend to improve your career, to advance your career in your own home country. And this course gives you the opportunity to advance your career in your home country, and also advise mentees and mentor other people that are coming up in this space as well. So you need to let them know that you intend to come back to your country because you are so passionate about what you're doing in your country. And don't, like, I was talking about the expression. When they're asking you, like, why are you going for a course? Oh, I'm going because I want to go and study abroad and get my certification and come back to my country. I just stop. That's wrong. You need to keep talking. I'm going because after my course, I tend to come back to my country. Even if they've not asked you if you are coming back, you can add that to the conversation. I'm traveling to study abroad because I want to learn, I want to get my certification, and I intend to come back to come and use that certification to advance my career in Nigeria, to mentor some other people in my sphere of influence in this capacity, to make them also advance their career as well. I want to use whatever I'm going to learn in the United States because the United States is going to give me better education and give me exposure to the global practice in this space. And I'm going to use that to improve this space in my country, to advance and also mentor people and make me an institution in my country when it comes to XYZ career, right? So you have to keep talking. You have to let them know that you are so passionate about your country, right? So those are 3 things I'm going to be talking about when it comes to tips about what you need to know before you go to the front of the counselor is accuracy, confidence.
Accuracy, yeah, confidence and expression. Can you still hear me, Mr. Martins? Because I stopped hearing
Yes,
you.
okay.
Okay,
Oh,
fantastic. Yes, I wanted to give you a round of applause, but I was like, you just aced it for us. Thank you so much. So yeah, because because of time, we'll not be able to take a lot of questions. So I'm just going to take 2 more questions, and we'll ask the final question. And next up, we encourage everyone to just come on a clarity call to discuss whichever. And if you are still skeptical, you're not sure which of the visas that you actually are qualified for, you want to apply for, all you simply need to do is to send us a DM on either Vesti Official, Vesti UK, Vesti Zambia, or Vesti Ghana. So you see, we are everywhere for you. The country location is not a barrier. So just follow our pages and send us a DM so we can respond. Yeah, so I'm looking for, okay, I think again a question came in from YouTube. However, why I look through the chat box here, I would like to direct this question to either Mr. Wale or Mr. Wilson. It says, does the DS-160 also apply to those going on tourist visa?
Yeah, of course. The
Okay.
DS-160 is like the major thing. Like we've been saying since we begin this call, that is what is even going to give the interviewing consular the first impression about you. That's where they get to know you at a glance. So the DS-160 is applicable to, almost all visa categories, if not all, almost. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. So, Shingai, oh, well, I hope I pronounced the name right, says he has a new contract to work in Rwanda, which is not his home country, contracted by Andela, and his interview is next week. That's for F1 visa. How does he navigate a possible question on home ties since he's not married? So I think you spoke about home ties. Maybe you want to touch base on that very quickly for him. Is that possible?
Yes, I actually want to get his question right because you said you have a new contract to work in Rwanda, which is not your home country. Contrary by
yes.
My interview F1 visa postgraduate is next week. How do I navigate a positive question on home ties? Okay. That means you are going for a student visa, right? Because F1 is a student, it's a student category. So yes, definitely. I said it the other time that you can actually tie your own ties around what you are doing currently. Okay. And Mr. Martins also said it the other time that you'll be coming back. You need that. You can tell them you need that course, or you need that postgraduate course for you to be able to move to the next stage of your career. All right. And you can even also get some kind of study leave from where you work, so that they will see that, okay, your company is aware, they can sign it, and it can even be, dotted black and white that once you are coming, you still have your space reserved for you. So that is going to give the consular a kind of assurance that definitely this person is not just going there to elope, but is going there to come back and advance his career and also add more value to himself and the company you'll be working with.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. I see a lot of questions here. Please feel free to reach out to Vesti Official for all of your questions. If you're listening to us on YouTube or you're currently here on Zoom with us, kindly send us a DM on Instagram, across our various platforms. Follow us as well. Download the app, yes, because most of all of this value and knowledge session is really just embedded in the app. When you download the app, you create an account, you get to actually even save for your migration related journey, because you need money here and money there. And speaking of money, I came across a question. I want to just casually ask Mr. Wale. So, can anybody be your sponsor? Maybe my uncle now, my rich uncle that just came back from that maybe just get one contract. Can you sponsor me? Or I need a specific kind of sponsor. So, is there any specific ties to who can sponsor me or something?
It depends on
From
your it depends on the kind of visa you are applying for, actually.
okay.
And no matter the category of visa you're applying for, yes, people can apply for you, but it has to go in line with the category of visa you are going for. If it's a B1, B2, yes, your uncle, your cousin, they can actually sponsor you. If it's maybe you are going to visit your uncle who is staying in the United States, or your cousin or your auntie, yes, they can sponsor you. But do not forget, there are still some parameters to be watched. You are 35, you are 40, you want to go and visit someone, and is that person that is sponsoring you? What have you been using your life for? So just look at it around. Look at it around that space too. You might tell them that it's a collaboration. Maybe the person is taking 50%, you are taking 50%. So do not make it look as if you don't even have anything to contribute. You don't even have a life. So if you get there and you see the kind of life your uncle is living, how are you going to come back? You won't come back. So do not make it look like so all these things, applying for visa can be a daunting task, because there are a lot of things to watch out for. All right. So, but if you are applying for F1 visa, student visa, yes, your parents can sponsor you. Then you can also be sponsored with the aid of scholarships by your school, or maybe another company that is giving scholarships. Then maybe you are going for a conference that has to be work related. Your company can sponsor you too. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
So
the type of visa determines the type of sponsor.
the type of visa and the purpose of why you are traveling. Yes.
Okay.
So I think Bumi and
yes, please, you can share.
Okay, I wanted to quickly buttress on that, but thankfully, I think Mr. Wale has mentioned a lot on purpose. And please be very, very sure on the source of funds for your sponsor. If your uncle, for example, is a manager in a bank, you want to be sure he's using his personal account and there can be direct inflow and outflow from that account. If he is the CEO, you want to be sure that, okay, he has access to this particular amount of funds, because there are questionable source of funds. If you're going as a student, if you're going as a visit. So you want to know the documents that I've seen someone's application being recalled just because the document submitted was not legit when they looked at the source of funds. So you want to be sure that your uncle's source of funds is actually well stated in the proof of funds, because there's going to be a letter and the inflow and outflow is clear enough. I wanted to state that too.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Ugumi. Huda, would you like to ask any question?
Yes, thank you, Laura. So I would like to ask Mr. Wilson, are there like steps to take after your US visa is approved? Like, what are the next steps to take after your US visa is approved?
All right. Basically, right, the one thing I would say is at the moment you get your visa, you have to start planning towards, buying your booking your flight and paying for your flight basically. But most importantly, it is the post visa interview, which happens at the port of entry. So at the point where you get to the country that to the US, for example, there is also another form of interview that you have to go through. Now, can that can eventually turn out to be the ultimate decider for you. So the fact that you've gotten your interview, you've gotten your visa here in Nigeria or your country or the home country, and then you travel, doesn't expressly mean that when you get there, all is now smooth. So you need to also have to go through that post-visa interview that happens at the port of entry. Now it is until that moment where you can now finally be cleared to move into the country. So you now have to, so what happens after your interview is you now have to start preparing for that port of entry, for that post-visa interview that happens at the point where you're getting into the country. Also, your documentations really still would have to be checked again. Your financial documents basically will have to be checked again. So for those people who take proof of funds, for example, when you're not expected to liquidate it yet until you're finally in that country, then you can eventually liquidate it just to avoid any issues around finances. But yeah, that's really what you want to plan towards, aside the obvious risk things, which is buying your tickets, you're paying for your flight, and also making arrangements on your where you would be staying when you get to that country. But most importantly, I would say that there's a certain level of readiness, right, that you have to put your mind in. You're going to a completely new country, right? So you need to plan yourself properly. You need to plan your spendings. You need to plan your finances. So even if you take up proof of funds from us at Vesti, for example, you should also bear in mind that that money isn't going to be used. It's just placed in your account for you to pass through this process. So you still need to have some money on you that would help you settle, that would help you walk around, because you really don't know what you're going to meet when you get into a completely new, different place. It is not your regular home country where you can always, when there is no money, you can always call a friend and be like, Alpha, raise me this amount of money to help you get through a day or 2 days. It doesn't always work that way when you're in a new place because everybody is hustling just the way you are. So, and here in Nigeria, for example, you could always call somebody and say, oh, bro, can you lend me 20K, let me use to work for the day and for the 2 days, or just walk around for the 2 days. But you're in a country like the US, you're not going to call somebody and tell me to send you $20,000 just for you to hold on body for. Nobody's going to give you that kind of money. So you need to have prepped yourself properly. There is no urgent 2K. There is no urgent 1,000. Those are not small amount of money that people will just give to you just because you come into a country. So you need to plan yourself properly. You need to also manage your finances enough to be able to cater for whatever unforeseen circumstances that you might come up with. Good thing you have the Vesti app that can help you save, and that can also help you with spendings when you get the cards. You can help you with your spendings when you get there. You can be able to shop and buy a couple things because there's always going to be that financial restraints and with coming from another country, spending money in another country. But the Vesti app helps you with that, helps you, walk through that process easily. So you can still get there and spend money, move around your money the way, that's convenient for you. But most importantly, like I've said, you need to be able to plan yourself properly, plan where you want to stay, plan how you want to spend, whatever hotel you're booking, be careful with the prices. Don't never forget that how you're going to make 20,000 naira in Nigeria is different from how you're going to get $20,000. Do not forget that the currencies are not the same. And so do not plan with your regular home country mentality. And be very careful when you get to where you get to. And basically, that's how you can navigate that process after you must have, gotten your visa at the consular office. That's all I can say.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Wilson, for that insight. Thank you, Mr. Wale as well, Mr. Martin, Ms. Umi, for everything you shared. Hi, Chiamaka, I see your hand is up, but please, you would have to send us a DM on Instagram or drop your question here in the chat box. So as we're rounding off now, we can easily just attend to it. We are not able to take any more questions at this particular time. So we want to ask everyone, our distinguished speakers, for their final words. I'm going to start with Mr. Martins. What are your final words for people, for all of us here? Let me not say people want to move, because everybody here wants to move at some point in their life. So we'll just give about 1 minute for each of you to tell us, give us final words as we begin to round up. Thank you. Mr. Martins, you can go first.
Okay, thank you, Laura. So my final words would be that don't take it as impossible, very possible, and don't let any past disappointment or people's it's something that is possible, it is doable, and it is not that hard, not that tough. Don't be agitated. Don't take it too personal that it are affecting your mental health or affecting you. It's something that is very doable and straightforward, right? And it is not an impossibility. It is possible for anybody, believe me. We got on your side. It's possible for anybody. So that's the thing.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Martins. Ms. Bumi, kindly go next.
Okay, so I think I'll be riding on what Mr. Martins said. I would say, do not be underprepared. You can never be underprepared and be your authentic self. Why be your authentic self? Please make all of the plans. Work with people that can hold you if you know you cannot do it alone. While you are trying to say it's not impossible, you want to do the right things at the right time and within the right space of time. Work with the right people, the right agents, the right companies. Let them hold you if you cannot do it. And please always ask questions. There is no too much questions. If you think you're getting lost anywhere, ask. No question is too much, no question is too little, no question is dumb. As long as you want to ace this, ask questions every time. And I will finish this that we are your legal and your go-to financial and migration service provider. Reach out to us on everything migration, and we'll be there to actually solve your questions. That would be
very professional. Yeah, no. That's stopped up on the other one.
Okay.
All that seems to be doing
Who is that? Can you mute? Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Lee, for your kind words, your final words as well. So I'm gonna move on to
there was a time that the founder.
Can you hear me? I had founder raised. Please, can you hear me, Mr. Wilson?
I think
I think it's Mr. Bank.
Mr. Banky Adediro.
Vesti team, please help us to mute Mr. Banky. I don't know where it's going. Please be safe. All right, I'm just gonna take Wilson. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, what are your final words for us today?
So what I would say really is, so as much as we can have these sessions, as much as we can get people to guide you and all of this, it is still going to be you versus the consular at that point. So your composure is still what is going to get you through it. We can give you all the necessary tips. We can tell you how to answer all the questions, and you can get there and just freeze. So you really need to compose yourself. And I mean, as much as you want to allow information, sometimes I always say too much information can get your mind all clouded up and make things clumsy in your head. So from all that we've said, you need to also pick the very most important things that work for you, mostly the tools that has been said that you feel like can guide you properly, so that when you get there, you are not under any form of pressure. You are still going to, we're trying to avoid a situation whereby you say you came on Vesti's webinar, when you got there, you still got denied. You also need to bear in mind that we are experts and can just tell you what to do, but we're not going to sit there with you. When the counselor asks you, what is your name, and you stammer, you're not going to come back and say, we are the ones that made you stammer. When they ask you, so I know of an instance where an applicant was asked what school he's going to, and he didn't know the school that was on his paper. So in that case, you're not going to say that it was because you attended Vesti's how to ace US visa interview and still got denied. Why not the ones that told you to forget the name of your university at the point where you are doing your interview? So you just need to be able to compose yourself well, take the basics that you need, and just, most importantly, just comport yourself and answer the questions that are being asked to you the way they are being asked and the way you're supposed to answer them. It is still a you race. We are just here to support. We are here to guide you. We're here to provide you with all the necessary tools. We're here to prepare your mind, but you still have the ultimate work at the end of the day to compose yourself and do what is right. At the end of the day, we would all get it when that time comes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wilson. That was fantastic. And thank you for cracking us a bit with you. Forgot the name of my school. I hope that nobody here will forget the name of their school. All right, so finally, Mr. Wale, what are your final words for us?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I would also want to actually thank everyone for your time, staying with us for over an hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours plus. And I would also want to tell, just to actually buttress what Wilson said, some people even go as far as forgetting their names because of how nervous they are at the US embassy. So that building, seeing that building alone can even make some people to just collapse, you know. So if you're not going to take anything out of this call today, do not forget that 3-letter word, ACE, ACE. Articulate, you know, be composed and be expressive enough, all right? So if you don't take anything out of today's meeting, do not forget that. And how will I put it? Vesti is all out here to actually make this journey a seamless one for everyone, because applying for a visa can be can be a daunting task. There's a lot of parameters to actually watch out for. Okay, and like there's this saying that say a mirror does not actually see itself. So if you have some people that actually, you know, there to hold you by the hand, so also watch your back, because you can't even see your back. So you have to watch your back and say, this is how to do it. This is what to do, what not to do. So we can't even exhaust how to ace your US visa interview on this call. It's not possible. So if you feel like we actually, you know, didn't do justice to, maybe there's a personal question, or there's a personal story, because everyone have their own story. Everyone is treated individually. So what you can do right now is that, you know, Vesti have premium services that are available. We have dedicated staff that will be, you know, assigned to take care of your case, because each case is treated individually. Like Wilson said the other time, it's a you case, it's your story. So do one thing for me today. Go to your Apple and a Google Play Store, go to your iOS store, download the Vesti app right now. All right, because your story is not unique. What you are going through, some people have gone through that thing before. And on Vesti app we have some communities whereby, you can subscribe to some pathways. If your own pathway is B1, B2, if your own pathway is F1, if your own pathway is Canada Express Entry, we have some communities, but you have to subscribe to it and you be part of the community. You see people that will hold you by the hand, tell you that you are not alone. Your story is not undoable. It is doable. All right. And I can tell you for free on this call that if you are able to download the app and you subscribe to any of the pathways, okay, we have yearly and we also have monthly subscription. If you do the yearly subscription, I can tell you for free here right now that we also have some additional services that will give you for free just because of that subscription. And that is, if you are feeling your DS160, we are going to help you with that. And we're also going to give you free DS160 review and also free prepping session. You see all these things that we are doing for 1.5 hours. We are ready to prep you for that 1 hour. And the best we are here to do is just that, to make this thing easy. How will I say it now? Immigration is one of the oldest thing on earth, and it's not even going to stop right now. So we'll definitely tell you, okay, this is what you have. And it's easy for us to say, okay, this and this is what is going to get you to this and this. If this is not working out, it doesn't mean the other ones is not going to work out. All right. So thank you so very much. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Hilda, for this wonderful session. And a big thank you to all our wonderful audience on YouTube, here on Zoom as well. Thank you so very much.
Yay! Thank you so much, Mr. Wale. Thank you, everyone, for joining, for participating, for sending in your questions. We love and appreciate you all. But don't forget, as you are leaving this meeting, hurry and go and download the Vesti app. Hurry and head over to Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn pages and ask your questions. Hurry now and book that clarity call. The links are in the chat box currently. Thank you, everyone, for also streaming on our YouTube page. We see you, we love you, we appreciate you. And to our beautiful, beautiful panelists, thank you so much for so much insights, everything that you've shared. We appreciate you all. And to my wonderful co-moderator, Hilda, thank you. I actually appreciate you currently. Thank you so much. So guys, we'll be sending a feedback form to everyone who registered very shortly. That my colleague had posted that on the chat box, but I thought to share again. We'll be sharing a feedback form just to get to hear your thoughts after this webinar. We would appreciate if you can fill it and tell us what you like, what you didn't really like, what you think can be done better, what you think we could have done. Just basically your feedback, and that would be used to improve our webinar in the upcoming times. Thank you so much for joining in. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening from Vesti. We love you all. Ciao. Adios. Bye. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.